think that that's a really interesting point because the conversations between, like we've been talking about, those man on the street interviews in 1988, they seemed more progressive than the conversations that were
Right.
highlighted in 1992 and beyond because there were headlines like things about the climate change, is this all just hot air? And I think that you would see something similar to that today. Some of those conversations you highlighted, Rush Limbaugh and others, those conversations are still happening today. I mean, what do you think then it's going to take to kind of get out of this Groundhog Day, like you said, from 1992 and really make significant steps forward? And that'll be my last question that I pose to each of you.
I mean, I would just say that we have had an administration in very recent past that made a lot of progress on the climate in terms of the bill passed to move alternative energy ahead. The infrastructure bill is what I'm referring to in the Biden administration. It's not like we've always, ignored what's possible. We actually did, people say what they will about the Biden administration or whatever, but that infrastructure bill really, in terms of the climate and the environment, was a huge leap forward. So that's one thing I will say. Like, let's call that what it is. But I also think that we've had the experience of watching this film with a lot of younger people, college students, younger 20s, et cetera, and who knew nothing of this history really. I mean, of course they knew about the Bush senior administration, but not this portion of it. And frankly, I needed a refresher on it, having lived through it. And the responses are really interesting. There's a lot of rage at what could have been because many of them, most of them didn't know that there had been this time when there was this opening and willingness to make change and do things differently, and that there was a time when this issue was a non-political issue. We as artists sort of feel emboldened by that rage in young viewers because they can take that, and as Pedro was saying, they have agency, and then they can go out and vote, and hopefully get back to a place where we actually can continue making significant change. These scientists have been beating a drum for a very, very long time, and they continue to. They are the great hope in this film, honestly. The way that they continue to work and discover and innovate around this science, and continue to bring us factual realities. So if they can do it, we can do it, and hopefully we can get back to a place where we have a government that's open to this kind of change.
We're living at a time of enormous possibility. You know, the current administration and current American government is choosing to kind of put their thumb on the scale to keep businesses that are wanting to innovate in America from doing that work. In a way, we were in a Groundhog Day from 1992 until the Inflation Reduction Act was passed. And actually, Groundhog Day ended for a moment. I think pretty much American industry and American business got on with the idea that we were going to solve this and we were going to be American about it. We were going to use our brains and our creativity and our business innovation and all the entrepreneurial spirit that built this country was going to help get us out of this mess that we've gotten ourselves in. And we've taken a giant backslide, but that doesn't mean that we can't get back to that place. This country is amazing. We've created so much business innovation and scientific breakthrough, and look at the world that we've helped create. And there's just no question we can get back there. The film is really intended to remind Americans of that no matter what walk of life you're from, if you're an artist, if you're a storyteller, if you're a business innovator, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a politician, if you're a journalist, whoever you might be, there's a place for you to tell the story and to be part of the change that we need. And that's really what we wanted to do with this film, is kind of remind people of that.
Exactly. And and I think it's becoming more and more self-evident that the false binary, right?
Hmm.
That like you're either for the environment or you're for for the economy and for America. That's actually a completely false binary. That is not the choice, especially now where the technological advances that we've seen over the past 30 to 40 years have been extraordinary in that front. So I think we're beginning to awaken, but the awakening is not happening overnight, but we're awakening to the fact that
Hmm.
this is an extraordinary opportunity for growth, for new, for a new way to, continue to advance, and that false binary is becoming, I think, quite apparent.
I really appreciated the documentary because it was a fascinating look at the origin story, really, of the intersection of the environment and politics. The White House Effect is now on Netflix. Bonnie, John, and Pedro, thank you so much for joining me. You're welcome back anytime.
Thank you, Brittany. We really appreciate it.